Mercedes is finally confident in their development direction. Horner sends a warning to Checo after his underwhelming performance, and Ocon is under fire for sabotaging his team once again. Do consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's get straight into the latest F1 news. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has called on Sergio Perez to bounce back and perform strongly at the Spanish Grand Prix, following a challenging weekend for the Mexican driver in Canada. Prior to the Canadian Grand Prix, Red Bull announced that Perez would continue with the team until the end of the 2026 Formula One season, signing a new 2-year contract. This decision was made despite Perez experiencing some difficulties in recent weeks, including early exits from qualifying in Emilia-Romagna and Monaco. Perez himself acknowledged that he needs to regroup after initially starting the 2024 F1 season on a positive note. Unfortunately, Perez's season took a sharp downturn in Montreal, where he failed to progress past Q1 for the second consecutive race. Furthermore, he retired with damage to his rear wing after spinning into the wall on a drying track. To compound Perez's disappointment, it was revealed that he would receive a 3-place grid penalty at the upcoming Spanish Grand Prix. This penalty was a result of driving back to the pits with extensive damage, leading to Red Bull being fined $25,000 for the incident. Horner mentioned that Red Bull was fortunate that Ferrari performed poorly in Canada, allowing them to maintain their position in the 2024 title race. Horner emphasized the importance of Perez supporting Max Verstappen, as they face increasing competition from teams like Ferrari and McLaren. In the last 3 races, Ferrari only accumulated 4 points for Red Bull. Horner expressed his thoughts to Sky F1, stating, "It was a difficult weekend for Checo, and he sustained some damage, so he will need to make a strong comeback in Barcelona." He added, "Fortunately, Ferrari had a terrible day, failing to score any points, which gave us some relief. However, we need both cars to score consistently. We were fortunate this time, but we want Checo back at the level he displayed at the beginning of the year, starting from Barcelona onward." Perez experienced a similar setback in form during the same period of the previous season, going 5 races without qualifying for Q3. During this time, there was increased scrutiny surrounding his future at Red Bull. Horner expressed confidence in Perez's ability to recover, highlighting his contributions to Red Bull's 3-1-2 finishes earlier in the 2024 season, which occurred in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Japan. Horner commented, "Consistently, we have witnessed Perez facing challenges, and just when it appears he's on the back foot, he bounces back. He possesses the resilience and strength of character required in a tough racer." He continued, "These setbacks affect him more than anyone else, and he will be determined to demonstrate the form we know he is capable of, as he showed in the first 4 races this year, starting from Barcelona." Recognizing the narrow margins in competition, Horner conveyed the importance of Perez performing at his peak. In the constructors' standings, Red Bull faces pressure from 3 teams closely trailing behind them, necessitating a full team effort. Perez previously voiced concerns during his mid-season struggles in 2022-23 that Red Bull's development had shifted away from him as the season progressed, causing his performance to lag behind Verstappen. However, Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko revealed after qualifying in Canada that Perez's current difficulties are primarily psychological, acknowledging the frustration of witnessing him fail to reach Q3 for the 3rd consecutive race. Marko stated in an interview with Service TV, "It's not the car, which is evident from Max's performance. I believe it's more related to psychological factors. Perez finds it more challenging when the conditions change. Nonetheless, it is painful that this has occurred for the 3rd time." Ferrari had a less than satisfactory weekend in Canada, following their impressive performance in Monaco. They encountered various setbacks, such as a lack of pace, mechanical problems, and race incidents, which prevented them from scoring any points. Charles Leclerc, who had shown dominance in the Monaco Grand Prix, faced difficulties in Canada. He struggled to break into the top 10 due to an early engine issue. In an attempt to improve his position, Ferrari took a gamble by switching Leclerc's tires from wet to slick. Unfortunately, this decision did not yield positive results. The persisting engine problem significantly hampered Leclerc's speed, leading to evident frustration expressed over the team radio. Eventually, he opted to retire from the race on lap 43. Ferrari clarified that the engine management systems, and not the engine itself, were the root cause of the issues. Carlos Sainz also endured a disastrous weekend. He suffered damage when he collided with Valtteri Bottas and later spun out, resulting in a collision with Alex Albon from Williams. Ferrari's performance in Canada was a far cry from their impressive display in Monaco, leaving team boss Fred Vasseur perplexed. Vasseur acknowledged that the team had shown strong pace on Friday and encountered challenging conditions on Saturday, which affected other cars too. Despite these obstacles, he remained confident in their performance for the race on Sunday. Unfortunately, everything went awry right from the start, leading Vasseur to jokingly remark that they had condensed all the difficulties of the season into a single weekend. Although their performance in Montreal disappointed, Vasseur maintained a positive outlook and assured that they would stick to their approach for the upcoming race. When questioned about the challenges he faced as the team boss at Scuderia, Vasseur admitted that it was not their finest weekend and refrained from declaring it as the toughest. He emphasized the importance of not allowing setbacks to discourage them, highlighting the team's determination to work together and support their drivers through both the highs and lows. Leclerc's frustration was palpable as he sought answers regarding the issues with his car. Vasseur empathized with his driver's standpoint, acknowledging the demoralizing effect of being aware of the performance disadvantages they were encountering. The poor performance by Ferrari coincided with McLaren and Mercedes delivering strong performances, further adding to their concerns. Vasseur believed that performance fluctuations were normal for any team based on the characteristics of different circuits. He pointed out Red Bull's challenging weekend in Monaco as an example. Vasseur stressed the importance of maintaining their approach, addressing the problems at hand and progressing, considering there were still many races left in the season. In summary, Ferrari's Canadian Grand Prix was disappointing due to a lack of pace, mechanical issues, and race incidents. Nevertheless, the team remained optimistic, acknowledging the challenges they faced while aiming to rebound in the next race. In light of George Russell's pole position and strong performance in Canada, many are wondering if Mercedes has regained its competitive edge and is now capable of securing race victories. During the qualifying session in Montreal, George Russell secured Mercedes' first pole position for the 2024 season in a rather unusual scenario. He and Red Bull's Max Verstappen clocked the exact same lap time, but Russell claimed the superior grid slot as he had set his lap time of 1:12,000 prior to Verstappen. As the lights went out for the Canadian Grand Prix, Russell led the race in the initial laps and remained a persistent contender for victory throughout, engaging in exciting battles with McLaren's Lando Norris and Red Bull's Verstappen. Using the hard tires to his advantage, Russell made a late charge, overtaking his teammate Lewis Hamilton. However, he ran out of time to pose a serious challenge to Norris for second place. Reflecting on the race, Russell admitted to feeling disappointed with the mistakes he made during the battles, which ultimately cost him time and positions. Nevertheless, he expressed satisfaction in being able to feel disappointed with finishing in third place, and the consistently strong performance displayed by Mercedes throughout the entire weekend filled him with optimism. The main question now is whether Mercedes can be considered back as serious contenders, especially after grappling with the performance of the W15 in the early part of the season. The team introduced a substantial upgrade package in recent races, which notably improved the car's performance. However, does Russell have enough confidence to assert that the team is now close to its best? Addressing the media after the race in Montreal, Russell acknowledged the struggles that Red Bull has faced over the past 3 races with their car. He emphasized the need to observe their performance in Barcelona, a more typical circuit, before making any definitive judgments. Russell remained confident in Mercedes' pace increase, explaining that the numbers and data from the team's factory had indicated a significant boost in performance with the recent upgrades. He believed that the upcoming race in Barcelona would be interesting for all competitors, but expressed his confidence in Mercedes' ability to stay competitive. With the battle at the front of Formula One being extremely tight in 2024, with Ferrari and McLaren also securing wins amidst Red Bull's challenges, Mercedes' newfound ability to contend is giving Russell considerable cause for optimism. However, Russell regarded the upcoming Spanish Grand Prix as the true test, as the fast and flowing nature of the circuit typically aligns with Red Bull's strengths. For this reason, he believed that the Milton Keynes-based team would still have a slight edge over the top 3 contenders. While acknowledging Red Bull's recent struggles, Russell noted their 2 victories in the last 3 races. He expected them to make some progress as the championship returned to more conventional circuits in Europe. Nonetheless, Russell had faith in Mercedes's performance gains, asserting that they were genuine and that they could continue the fight alongside McLaren. He also anticipated seeing how Ferrari, who had an off weekend, would perform in the upcoming races. Esteban Ocon claimed to be a team player during the Canadian Grand Prix, but Jacques Villeneuve accused him of waiting too long, which prevented Pierre Gasly from making a significant impact. Alpine found themselves embroiled in a controversy involving team orders at the Canadian Grand Prix. Ocon was furious with the team for not instructing Gasly to relinquish ninth place to him on the final lap. Here's how the situation unfolded. Ocon was ahead of Gasly, while they both held 9th and 10th positions respectively, with Gasly being the faster driver. Alpine instructed Ocon to let his teammate pass so that he could challenge Daniel Ricciardo for a better position. Ocon's immediate response was a firm refusal. After a bit of back and forth, Ocon finally allowed Gasly to overtake him at turn 8 on lap 69 of the 70-lap Grand Prix. However, Gasly's deficit to Ricciardo was too large for him to mount a comeback, and he finished the race in 9th place behind the Red Bull driver, with Ocon coming in 10th. Ocon was furious that Alpine didn't request Gasly to return the position, expressing his dissatisfaction to his race engineer. He stated, "I did what I had to do, which is the most important part, but you guys didn't do what you were supposed to do." During the post-race media interaction, Ocon maintained his stance, highlighting that he always acts in the best interest of the team, follows instructions, and considers himself a team player. However, Villeneuve contested these claims. Villeneuve, the 1997 world champion who served as a guest pundit for the Canadian Grand Prix, pointed out that Ocon's actions were tactical against his teammate. He claimed to be a team player, let him by, blamed the team, and so on. However, he ensured that he waited long enough for Gasly to have no chance to attack, Villeneuve remarked. He allowed him to pass just to say, "I was a team player." There's a lot of thought process behind it. Gasly, on the other hand, chose not to escalate the situation and dismissed it as unimportant. The objective was clear towards the end, the Frenchman stated. "I was faster on the hard tires in the closing stages of the race, and once Daniel overtook Esteban, the plan was for the other car to let me pass. Then, for the final 4 laps, I would try to overtake Daniel using DRS. It took a bit longer than we would have preferred, but honestly, it's not a big deal. The tricky part is breaking the DRS zone 2 laps before the end, which is too far away. However, if it had been done slightly earlier, I could have been in the DRS zone with a slightly better chance, but really, it's not a big deal." This will be Ocon's final year with Alpine, as both the driver and the team announced their separation before the Canadian Grand Prix. Ocon has been frequently linked to a move to Haas. Yuki Tsunoda expressed his enthusiasm for the pressure he faces to perform well in order to secure a contract extension beyond 2025. Prior to the Canadian Grand Prix, the Visa Cash App RB team confirmed that Tsunoda would be staying with them for the upcoming season, as they exercised their option to retain him for 2025. Yuki Tsunoda's future in Formula One for the 2025 season was uncertain, while Red Bull's second driver position remained unconfirmed. Despite Tsunoda's impressive performances during 2024, where he outperformed Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull ultimately decided to sign Sergio Perez on a new 2-year contract. However, shortly after this announcement, it was confirmed that Tsunoda would indeed be staying with RB for the 2025 season. This will mark his 5th consecutive season in Formula One, all of which have been with Red Bull's sister team. When asked about his new contract during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, Tsunoda mentioned that having his future secured for another year brings a sense of calm regarding his immediate prospects in the sport. He mentioned, "One of the things it does is clear my mind. V-Carb is performing well, and I'm consistently scoring points for this team. It would be a shame to switch to another team when V-Carb is in such a positive position." Tsunoda's association with Red Bull primarily stems from the engine supply deal with Honda. Tsunoda emerged through the ranks of Honda's driver program. However, with Honda parting ways with Red Bull at the end of 2025 and Aston Martin taking over the Honda partnership, Tsunoda emphasized that the only way to ensure his future with Red Bull is to continue performing at a high level. When asked if Tsunoda had received any assurances for 2026, he replied, "Not really, but I'll keep pushing. It's a challenging situation, but I've grown accustomed to it. Perhaps it's good to train under pressure, you know? Ultimately, in Formula One, the goal is to become a world champion, and that requires handling pressure. Besides, you always have to strive to be the best. I still have plenty of areas where I can improve, so it's all right. Red Bull and Honda have been a significant part of my career, and both parties are aligned with the current situation and the future. I'll continue to focus on what I'm doing, and I'm thrilled to support this team for this significant endeavor. Recognizing Tsunoda's improved maturity, along with his impressive speed and consistent race performances, RB team boss Laurent Mekies acknowledged that the team and driver are continuously working together to enhance their collaboration. Mekies expressed, "I have been closely following Yuki's progress in Formula One even before my return to Faenza, and it has been truly impressive year after year. The improvement he has shown this year is simply remarkable, and he continues to surprise us race after race. Beyond his natural speed, he has now developed a more mature approach, making him a fast and consistent performer while also being a great team player. We are continually gaining a better understanding of each other's needs, so our progress as Visa Cash App RB, both Yuki as a driver and the team, is a testament to our shared ambitions. There are plenty of reasons to continue our journey together, as Yuki still has a lot to offer." Thanks for watching the video, everyone. See you in the next one.